The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the Republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, 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 the Russians.
Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this. The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. We will make America wealthy again.
They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of special operations forces.
We will make America proud again.
And watch, please, those mail-in ballots.
We will make America safe again.
And in millions and millions of ballots. Their vote is under what they thought they needed.
They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you.
If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session is on.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Devolution Power Hour. As always, and unfortunately, I am joined by Mr. Burning Bright. Burning Bright, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good for somebody who was not among the invitees to Beijing aboard Air Force One. You saw there was a little bit of billionaire drama over that. And
to
all
be
these
fair,
guys are all,
I probably wouldn't have invited you either.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would have taken Gates' plane or something. It's fine. I didn't have to be on the main plane.
I don't think it'd be about the plane you're in. I think it's more so about, there's only a limited amount of time for these things, and we don't need no filibustering, Yeah,
it's true. They're disclosing the deals. So
we do have like a 6-minute video of Trump participating in the bilateral meeting with the president of China that we could probably watch. Some comments from both of them. Full disclosure and a little soft disclosure. There's 4 minutes left in the wild game. They're up 3-1, so I am monitoring the situation on that as well. Hoping for a game 6 back at home. I'm going to be distracted for a little bit. But how about we start with the Chinese, the bilateral meeting, and also tonight we're going to discuss the CIA files hoax that got dropped on everybody tonight that a lot of people fell for. Super gay. And by the way, we're not going to be defending the CIA by any means. We hate the CIA. We think the entire agency should be disbanded and, split into a million pieces and spread into the wind. They suck. But we're defending the truth. And it seems like there was a psyop tonight. Thomas Massey is a douchebag, but he may not be guilty of the allegations that have been put forth against him. Recently, a week before the primary, seems suspect timing for a girl that he stopped dating a year ago. We're going to talk about The Atlantic, and they wrote an article on the National Counterterrorism Strategy, which we discussed in full last week. Good show, and there's like a kind of a rebuttal on it tonight. Damn it, the Colorado scored. Oh no,
make it a nail biter.
And then we're going to transition from that into how Seb Gorka is a faggot. And I did write that in my notes. And then, I
honestly don't know much about Gorka. I don't pay a lot of attention to some of these figures.
He is a dual citizen in a government position. So right off the bat, that is just unbelievable.
Isn't he an advisor? Is it like he's
not the director of? He's the National Counterterrorist Director or whatever.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then
I thought he was just an advisor.
Oh, we can only be so lucky. But then on top of that, I don't know what I was going to say on top of that. There was something recently, we'll play a clip of him basically saying we need to restrict free speech, essentially. He does not like people who say things he doesn't like. So
there's a good amount of people in MAGA who feel the same way as he does.
That is technically true. That is technically true. We got a couple sponsors, though. How about we get to those first? We're going to start with River. Then we're going to do soft disclosure, and we'll have another ad a little bit later. Then we're going to jump right into the bilateral meeting.
Your bank kept $1,600 from you in 2025. You probably didn't notice. Now multiply that by millions of Americans. That's over $433 billion in interest the banks kept. Your money goes in. Banks put it to work. They make record profits. You get almost nothing in return. And when they blow up, guess who has to bail them out? So what are you supposed to do? Ask politely? Wait? Accept that this is just how banking works? Or you could put your money where it works for you. On River, your cash earns 3.3%, paid in Bitcoin. Earning Bitcoin gives your money even more room to grow. And it's just as easy as how you bank today. You can get paid, pay your bills, and access your money anytime. Start banking with Bitcoin on River.
Badlandsmedia.tv/river.
Not sure whose voiceover that was at the end, but
seamless audio transition there.
Badlandsmedia.tv/river.
So jarring, it's effective.
You guys all should be getting your Bitcoin from River. Like, that's the thing. You should get it and then go to badlandsmedia.tv/trezor and put it on a cold storage wallet.
Or send it all to us via Rumble Wallet.
That's another way you can do it. Wallet.rumble.com. I'm going to do one more sponsor, and it's a longer one. It's Zach's soft disclosure ad, just because I'm hoping to kill enough time to watch the end of this game here. There's a minute 40 left, empty net. Oh, goddamn. So scared right now. Colorado's so good. Okay, see you in a minute. The Avs just scored, bro.
Oh my god. Let's save Zach then for later.
Minute 23
it's almost like
left.
this is
How do you let in that goal? What is happening? Gosh, there's McKinnon too. I hate that guy. They're choking. But okay.
Yeah.
Let me get a reset. We're gonna play that again. I'll come back with a better attitude. Let's see what happens.
Today we remember those who gave everything. And memory is never still.
This Memorial Day! One hero, one mission to deliver softness to America!
No, Chi-Chi, we can't stop for snacks, dude. We have to deliver all of these soft disclosure gift cards.
He goes by Zach Kane.
The motion detector!
Hey, stop fighting over the beer brand.
Life finds a way.
Hydrate your elbows! Moisturize your soul! Feel the rhythm together! You feel alive and let the lotion roll! Soft disclosure, hear the cry! Maximum softness! Do or die!
Muffin, hit it.
softdisclosure.com. Use promo code Memorial15 for 15% off. Come on, Wild.
I feel like Chris Hemsworth could play Zach in the retro Zach biopic.
Yeah, that would probably be a pretty good story.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you get the part in there where he like cuts off one of the frog's legs, that has to be in there. It's actually probably the story about the frog. And you just get a little background of Zach in there too. Come on.
Damn good though.
You're gonna have to carry the show for a little bit. 20 seconds left till the end of the period. And then we got fucking overtime. I'm not gonna be able to pay attention at all during overtime. What is this?
Because you're always paying so much attention.
Well, yeah, that's true when you talk. So how about we could get to the bilateral meeting, the 6-minute
Why do
video.
you keep saying that? It's just called a meeting, man.
They call it a bilateral meeting, bro. It's in the title of the
video. It's just a meeting. I think bilateral just means a meeting of two or more people. So I don't know why they're so fixated on this term.
Well, let's look it up. And one-on-one between two parties, typically two countries, to negotiate. So some meetings are just like meeting, like, hey, this could have been an email and stuff, but some of them are specifically for negotiations and exchange.
This one is like, as per my last email.
Maybe.
It's like if the texts have been left on read, and Trump decided enough.
Okay, here we go. This better be good.
Let me say a few words first. And then I'd like to invite you, Mr. President, to deliver your opening remarks.
She's got an interesting voice.
President Trump, I'm very pleased.
You think who do you think chose the translator for this? And do you think they did it on purpose by selecting a woman to translate for Xi instead of like
It is a soft move. By the way, guys in chat, I know the definition of the word bilateral. I was commenting on the fact that it is redundant to call a meeting between two nations bilateral because it's already implied in the fact that the two nations are meeting.
Can't believe you don't know what bilateral means. Another word you should look up is bicameral. You'd probably like that word too.
To meet you in Beijing.
Beijing.
Welcome back to China after 9 years.
Rose before hose.
That's it.
The whole world is watching our meeting. Currently, transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the globe, and the international situation is fluid and turbulent. The world has come to a new crossroads. Can China and the United States overcome the Thucydides trap and create a new paradigm of major country relations? Can we meet global challenges together and provide more stability for the world? Can we, in the interests of the well-being of our two peoples and the future of humanity, build a brighter future together for our bilateral relations?
Real quick, somebody in the chat says, John, maybe she was the most qualified. Sheesh.
She can barely speak English, so I don't
I really doubt she's the best.
It is crazy how often that happens, where it's like the person translating for world leaders is like, are you fluent in this other language you're speaking?
Sure is interesting. I just wonder who chose it. But then what he mentioned there, the Thucydides trap or whatever, like the tendency for, all right, I pulled it up here. The tendency towards war when an emerging power threatens to displace an existing great power as a regional or international hegemon. I think it's interesting considering the national security strategy and its push towards regions of responsibility.
My ears perked up with that as well, because I think that's bicameral in the normie framing, normie bipartisan framing, actually, whether you're MAGA or liberal. You would look at what Xi just said there as a bit of a shot across the bow to Trump because of what you just read. So again, this is not just tension that arises through the emergence of a new world power. It's specifically a power that challenges a hegemony. And so really Xi's opening statement is accusing the United States of being a global hegemon. That's one way of looking at it, and that's how most people are going to look at it, and I think that's intended. But the other way to look at it is the term I use every article I write about the Sovereign Alliance, which includes Xi Jinping, is that him and Trump are working together against the globalist hegemon. So, it's kind of interesting in that context too.
The actual definition he uses, I love it because of one of the words he uses in here. The Thucydides trap refers to the natural, inevitable discombobulation that occurs when a rising power threatens to displace a ruling power.
That's great.
Absolutely great. Okay, we'll go back to the only most qualified translator in the history of translations.
Right.
These are the questions vital to history, to the world, and to the people. They are the questions of our times that you and I need to answer as leaders of major countries. This year is the 250th anniversary of American independence. Congratulations to you and to the American people. I always believe that our two countries have more common interests than differences. Success in one is an opportunity for the other, and a stable bilateral relationship is good for the world. China and the United States both stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. We should be partners, not rivals. We should help each other succeed and prosper together and find the right way for major countries to get along well with each other in the new era.
It's a weird place to grow grass in the middle of a meeting room, you know? Seems silly.
I think that's
Bro, it's a joke. Bro, that was a joke. Come on. But I wanted to see what the paintings were on the wall. If there's any comms to those.
Looks like a dragon maybe over there.
Where?
In the back, or maybe just some trees or something.
Either trees or a dragon. Those are both solid guesses.
The only two possibilities.
I don't know what's on this one anyway. Anyway, okay, we'll keep going.
Mr. President, I look forward to our discussions on major issues important to our two countries and the world, and working together with you to set the course for and steer the giant ship of China-U.S. relations so as to make 2026 a historic landmark year that opens up a new chapter in China-U.S. relations. I will pause here and hand over to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Well, President Xi, I want to thank you very much. First of all, that was an honor like few have ever seen before. And I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. They were beautiful. The military is obvious. It couldn't be better, but those children were amazing, and they represent so much. And I know they represent so much to you. You and I have known each other now for a long time. In fact, the longest relationship of our two countries that any president and president has had. And that's, to me, an honor. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've gotten along. When there were difficulties, we worked it out. I would call you and you would call me. And whenever we had a problem, people don't know, whenever we had a problem, we worked that out very quickly. We're going to have a fantastic future together. Such respect for China, the job you've done. You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it, but I say it anyway because it's true. I only say the truth. And I just want to say on behalf of all of the great delegation that we have the greatest businessmen, the biggest, and I guess the best in the world. We have amazing people, and they're all with me. Every single one of them, we asked the top 30 in the world, every single one of them said yes. And I didn't want the second or the third in the company. I wanted only the top. And they're here today to pay respects to you and to China. And they look forward to trade and doing business. And it's going to be totally reciprocal on our behalf. So I really look very much forward to our discussion. It's a big discussion. There are those that say this is maybe the biggest summit ever. They can never remember anything like it. I can say in the United States, people aren't talking about anything else. But it's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be your friend. And the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can't get out of here, media. I think they end it.
And now for a game of ping pong.
There you go. This is the video he was talking about with the kids.
Yeah. You know, there's snipers that are like, if one kid doesn't jump up and down.
So There you go. Just interesting. Trump commented on that. But yeah, a lot of military back there and everything.
Yeah, it's
Quite the show out.
Same old commentary from Trump, but it's obviously different seeing him in person, saying the stuff that he says often, which is all their phone calls, referencing their lengthy relationship. And I would say he does that with Xi more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
He always does his asides, but we've I've remarked on this show for several years that any time Trump is going to say a statement, whether he's prompted on it or unprompted, put something on Twitter or Truth Social about Xi or about China, even if it's negative during the trade wars era, he always precedes it by saying, like, great leader, super smart, and we've known each other a really long time. Lately, he's been a lot more direct about, hey, we're going to have a great future. But, I think it was a year ago, 2025, a good part of that year was dominated by Trump versus Xi trade war, which is kind of soft paused and has been for six-ish months, maybe more than that now, actually, going back to last fall. And one of the interesting things there is that the joint economic projects that could happen between the US and China are still actively being planned and worked out and have been the entire time. So even during all the trade war crap, they've got these joint economic railways. They've been talking about Arctic cooperation and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, we'll see if anything big comes out of this on Thursday's news. Obviously, they're meeting like right now throughout the night for us. But I don't really expect a big announcement of a deal to come out of this, because I think this is all tied into whatever timeline Trump is extending with the Iran situation. It feels like he doesn't want to let the air out of that balloon yet. And I don't think we're going to get to an end state, but I think this is just more confirmation that these two guys are coordinating. The other thing is the media, I was looking all week and writing about it. They've been trying to preempt this summit, and Politico earlier today talked about how it's all optics, and they literally used the term, quote, I think some of it will be real and most of it will be fake.
Who wrote that?
The meeting. So this was a Politico article, but they were quoting Lisa Tobin, who's National Security Council Director for China during the first Trump administration. So they quote her. She says, I'm expecting more optics than substance out of the summit. I think some of it will be real and most of it will be fake. And it's just funny to me because we talk about fake, real, and narrative, and they're de facto just saying this is a narrative deployment by Trump and Xi. Even the media is saying this is a narrative deployment. The question is, what is that narrative deployment for? And what are they trying to advance? Like, what, to me, I see this as a show of force by both of them. The question is, who is that a show of force against? A lot of people think it's against each other, and I don't think it's against each other.
Yeah. So what you said earlier about you not expecting any like big announcements or anything, I'm not sure I necessarily disagree, but the fact that, first of all, there's a ton of rumors flying around about what's going to happen here. I think I saw it was Bill O'Reilly, faggot, don't like him, but doesn't matter. He said that China is supposedly going to be offering to like help with the Iran situation in exchange for, maybe a free hall pass on Taiwan or something. Probably bullshit. There's other rumors about like trillions of dollars of investments of Chinese companies that Trump is going to be seeking to come and build their manufacturing in the United States. Could be total bullshit. Who knows? But I think the most interesting part of it, in terms of like, and big announcements, that's a subjective term. I'm just thinking economically. The fact that he brought, what he say, over 30 of the CEOs and not the second guys. He wouldn't allow any of the second guys. He just wanted the top guys. I wouldn't be surprised to see some big investments of some sort, big trade deals, something, maybe a lowering of tariffs on some products in exchange for investments. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
Well, the irony with the leaders he brought with him, the business leaders, that was remarked on in the economic media or the financial media, is that Trump was saying we really want China to open up its economy, to our businessmen.
Yeah.
that's not unreasonable for him to say, but it's worth pointing out that using one of those billionaires as an example, Elon Musk, I believe the biggest Tesla factory in the world is in China. I could be wrong there, but it's certainly one of their gigafactories. And I think it produces the most Tesla vehicles of any factory. Again, could be wrong, but
the gigafactory in Texas is Tesla's largest site. Hold on. Let me look for... That's the largest site by land area. Let me see if I can find by production.
Produces the most. Well, either way, they've got a gigafactory in Beijing, I believe, and that's not a closed market.
Shanghai is the largest producer.
Shanghai, right? Okay. So it's not a closed market. There's more that could be open there, but the funny thing about him saying that is that one of the main things keeping American businesses and these business leaders out of China are the tariffs on American companies that were put there by Donald Trump, which is something the Chinese media was saying. So they were like, so hold on. You want China to open up its economy to American companies, but you are tariffing those companies for doing business in China. And that's, I think, one of the things, even though we talked about this a lot in 2025, that a lot of Americans still don't understand about what tariffs are. They're like, oh, tariffs are against China. That's not how tariffs work. You can't force China to pay something. The tariffs are on American companies that are doing business in China. So, and these companies that he brought over there are the ones that stand to benefit the most and stand to be hurt the most by Trump's tariffs. So the show of force here, I've been using the Game of Thrones refrain with a lot of these dinners, these now infamous White House dinners that have been happening over the last year and change, where we had the tech leaders gather with Trump. We had the oil execs, I think in January, gather with Trump. And a lot of those guys are at this meeting in China, especially all the tech guys are at the meeting in China. And I think that this is one of those sort of red wedding type dinners. I don't think it's against Xi. I think it's Xi and Trump sitting there with all the biggest billionaires in the world and basically saying the futures of your companies are entirely dependent on what these two guys agree. And it demonstrates whatever you think about, you know, white hat, black hat of guys like Elon Musk and on down the techie line. You don't need these guys to be good guys to understand the power position that Trump and Xi are in if both of them are working together on these deals, which has been my theory for years, and specifically in 2025, I called it the multipolar margin call, that only by Trump leveraging these tariffs, and more importantly, by Xi responding in kind, did that squeeze this billionaire class and force them to reallocate resources to the US. So I see this less as Trump and Xi sniping across the table at each other, and I see them more looking at everybody at the table and going, you motherfuckers better stay in line because we shut you down once and we can easily do it again.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. Sorry, the game's back on, so didn't listen to much of what you said. Apologies. But not really. I want to talk. Let's get into the article about the Atlantic thing. This one.
Gork.
Oh, actually, no. Shoot, I had a video. I want to play this first. You have to listen to this one. It's not great, like a visual, but it's good audio, supposedly. This is at the meeting with Trump and the bilateral meeting of Trump and Xi. Did you hear that? Telling like reporters or something to get the fuck out of here.
No, get the fuck out of here. No, move. Please put on the earpiece for the simultaneous interpretation. Thank you.
So I think Secret Service is telling like some of the reporters or something to get the F out. Yeah. That was funny. Okay, but let's get into this. So last week we went over in pretty good detail the national counterterrorism strategy And this was put out by The Atlantic. Tom Nichols. Isn't this guy on the Lincoln Project?
I don't know.
I'm thinking of... I could have swore he was... Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But I know this guy sucks. Writer for The Atlantic. He left the Republican Party after the Kavanaugh confirmation. In an opinion column published in 2019, Nichols cited the Mueller report to argue that Trump failed in his role as a citizen and then as commander-in-chief. He's a propagandist. I could have swore he was part of the Lincoln Project. But anyway, he's the author of this article. So the policy is unfocused, run by amateurs, and concerned more with the president's many grievances than the security of the United States. And we probably won't read the whole thing, but we'll read a couple chunks of it so you guys get a good idea here. And then, again, keep in mind what we talked about last week. A lot of what Trump focused on in the counterterrorism strategy is the domestic terrorists that are in the form of our intelligence community. Chris says he wrote a book about how important it is to trust the experts. Sounds like something you do.
Well, he is an expert, so...
Shoot the puck, Kaprizov. What are you doing? Dude, 2-on-1. Wide open net.
A Russian?
Oh my gosh, we're going to... Oh, they just fucking scored.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's game.
Jeez.
On what a freaking collapse.
That's Leafs-esque, though.
I mean, they're the best team in the league. The Colorado, like we had no business actually winning. But Jesus, you can't blow a 3-0 lead. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna turn that off and let's.
You want to go yell into a pillow?
No, I'll be fine. I'll do it later. Last week, the Trump administration released the official 2026 United States counterterrorism strategy. The document is a mess, replete with typos, hyperbolic assertions, and an obsession with former President Joe Biden. The bigger problem, however, is that it's not an actual strategy. It's more a long set of notes for a campaign speech, a repackaging of President Trump's various preoccupations and prejudices that frames everything the administration doesn't like as terrorism and any action it has already taken as counterterrorism. As a security expert and Atlantic contributor Juliette Kayyem told me, such reports used to be serious documents meant to guide our intelligence and law enforcement agencies, as well as inform the citizenry, including state and local leaders. This report, unfortunately, is anything but serious, and good luck to anyone trying to make sense of it. I thought we did a pretty good job making sense of it last night. Last week. But someone has to figure it out.
They felt the need to counter.
Yeah. But someone has to figure it out because it is still an official product of the United States government, and it is still supposed to serve as a guide to policy. With that in mind, I read the report. It's mercifully short, and I offer here a few samples of what readers are up against in trying to understand it. And this is such a good example of how, like, the things that we see Trump going after and what we see as part of the problem in this country, the institutions and, like, the intelligence community, are things that the left, the mainstream media, the enemy, the deep state, whatever, they're the ones that defend that stuff. Trump's counterterrorism strategy calls out those institutions. And here they're saying, like, this thing doesn't make sense. They're essentially defending those institutions. When you find yourself defending the institutions, you're probably on the wrong side of the ledger.
And it's the closing of the loop when they do this. The Atlantic is actually one that we talk about a lot. Chris brings them up a lot as well because they're not the most read of media propaganda rags, but they are one of the most influential. It's the thinkers among the deep state media class. And as you just pointed out with this writer, Nichols here, a lot of the people who have gone through the Atlantic have kind of been in and out of various positions and think tanks. Often it's think tanks associated with administrations, but not directly in administrations. So it's a closing of the loop in that they're not only defending the institutions that you pointed out, but they're revealing themselves as we know them and as Trump first decreed them in 2016. They are one of those institutions. And a lot of what you and I focused on when we talked about the counterterrorism strategy is the CIA and intel agencies, but a lot of it was narrative. Donald Trump frames things in terms of narrative. The counterterrorism strategy, I would guess, frames things much more in the realm of narrative and fifth-gen warfare than any counterterrorism strategy has in the past. There's a lot of language changes there, which is why you kept playing the clip of Trump talking about illegal psychological warfare operations. Well, who conducts the operations? The CIA and the intel community might plan the operations, but the CIA doesn't carry out the operations directly.
All right.
That's what the media is for. Well, again, then it's like, okay, what's the difference? But that's what this is. So it's a further layer of irony. It's not just the media defending other institutions. It's basically the institutions themselves making good on everything Trump is saying about them in the strategy.
The fact pattern under the Biden administration was clear. Individuals at the highest level of the government or of the U.S. government used their significant powers to politically target individuals in the interests of those they favored, wanted to keep in power, or to help win elections. Now, that's a quote from the counterterrorism strategy, and what they explain it as underneath here. This is an old Trump accusation, but now it sounds a lot like projection, as the administration goes after its perceived enemies and tries to undermine America's electoral process. What's hilarious about this is it's almost like a full circle moment here. The Russiagate thing, right? And the impeachment and COVID, stolen election, political persecution, all these things that the Democrats, the media, the intelligence community has done and weaponized against Trump from the beginning. It's like undeniable, even though they try to deny it. That's what we assume and hope, and it's the rug we're on for Trump to go after, right? The fix the elections and the Rico Grande thing. But then here, they're saying that it's projection. It's Trump doing this. In the lead up to Trump getting elected in 2024, they threatened a lot, and to them it was projection of when Trump gets back in there, he's just going to go after his political enemies. And then a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Comey indictment, the one that I said, and some people didn't like me saying this, but it was true, I believe it. This, of all the ways you can go after James Comey and indict him, this is by far the gayest and the weakest, because it was like the 8647 thing. And his defense in that entire thing, because the first failed indictment failed, is he's just going after me. This is persecution. I'm just his it's a political persecution, and it's a pattern here from the Trump administration, and it's the same defense he's going to use if a real hammer drops from any of the other investigations that are going on. And it's kind of a full circle moment that they're like saying this is just an old Trump accusation. Now Trump's the one doing it to his enemies, even though there's actuals there when there never was with any of what they were doing to him.
Yeah. I mean, it's been the same looped pattern for 10 years now. But I guess, we're back to the good old days where they're on the back foot constantly, because I would say that the media is in a reactive posture to Trump this year. You used the word discombobulated earlier. That's certainly been one of the themes of the year. But you can really see that in stuff like this. It used to be that even in the first Trump term, it felt like a lot of the time these hit pieces were leading Trump deployments. Maybe some of that is because whether it's the National Security Council or the intel agencies, etc., maybe there were so many more swamp creatures in that administration, or very close to all the nodes of power in that administration. But all the propaganda moves were basically leading Trump moves in the first term. Now it seems to be the opposite. So just one of the interesting things about this is just the fact that it's a full week after the counterterrorism strategy gets published publicly. We've got the media forming narratives about it. That in general is just way behind the narrative timeline they normally would advance.
Yeah, this next one here. Jihadi terrorists have continued to plot against and kill Americans, in part because of failed forever war policies of prior Republican administrations, the empowerment of terrorist sponsoring regimes like Iran under Democrat administrations, and a past unwillingness to challenge Islamist ideologies head on. As Homer Simpson would say, everyone is stupid except me. Previous administrations did, in fact, devote significant efforts to countering violent extremism, including a program called, oddly enough, Countering Violent Extremism. And I'm wondering what...
That's how you knew it worked.
I want to know what this article is.
That's how you know a strategy is going to work. If you just name it exactly what you want it to do.
It's not letting me open this thing.
Naming, as we will discuss in another deployment today, the administration is well aware of the power of naming things.
Are you able to open that that other document within here? I can't get to it. It just keeps taking me to this screen where I have to prove I'm not a robot, and I have to keep proving I'm not a robot.
Can you prove it though?
I mean, it just asked me to click a box, and I'm doing it really good. Look how successful I am with this. Watch.
It asked me to name a bunch of pictures or be like, pick the traffic lights. No, it's not working for me either. I bet it's because we're following the link from archive. That's why. Let me.
I know, but then I went to the real link and it brought me here, and I can't get down to that part. Man, this is how they get you.
They got us. Hold on. What about? Do we have any hackers? 1980s style hackers. Okay,
Let's see if I can
link
do this.
address. Let's get the archive out.
Copy link address.
We need house archives.
Oh, I think I found it.
Oh, I think I got it. Oh, let me see if
I got
get to it.
Actually, the White House Summit on Countering Violent Extremism. This is Obama from 2015.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying that previous administrations already did this.
I know. I want to see what they consider to be violent extremism besides like white North Dakota dudes who stream from their basement.
Well, that's one of the worst kinds.
True. Okay, this isn't really, it's not really interesting to me, so we'll move on. Wasted a bunch of time there, but whatever. The report lists the threat of Islamist terrorism as a top concern, which is fair enough. The other two threats identified in the report, however, make less sense. One is narco-terrorists and transnational gangs, an obvious attempt to reverse engineer a justification for Trump's boat attacks off the shores of Latin America so that they are not crimes, but part of the strategy.
I wouldn't say he was attacking the boats. I would say he was attacking the people in the boats.
No, it's probably just the boats.
Yeah, he does hate boats.
Yeah, little to do. I have heard he hates boats and hoes, but it's little to do with the drugs inside. But is he trying to defend and say that narco-terrorists and transnational gangs are not like a bad thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting turn there, especially since they used to not be all about the countering Islamic extremism thing. Like way back in 2020, they were, talking about how Islam was our friend and all this kind of stuff. I'm not talking about it through ghost framing. I mean, like from mainstream media framing. And now they're like, yeah, we'll give them that. We'll give them all the jihadis and we'll give them the Islamic extremists. But you should not be attacking narco-terrorists, which is related, I think, to the obvious coordination between U.S. intel, U.S. media/intel, and the cartels themselves, especially when right now you've got Trump leaning on Scheinbaum and the Mexican government pretty directly.
Yeah, and then the third category here, made up of violent left-wing extremists, including anarchists and anti-fascists. Who could these be? Communists, perhaps? Not quite. The document identified them as anti-American, radically pro-transgender, and anarchist, and promises to map them at home, identify their membership, map their ties to international organizations like Antifa, and use law enforcement tools to cripple them operationally before they can maim or kill the innocent. It also promises to do the same with the state sponsors of such groups and those governments undertaking lethal plots on U.S. soil or against Americans anywhere. Of course, the Trump administration has always tried to portray Antifa, a loose affiliation of people who dramatically think of themselves as anti-fascist fighters, as a coherent organized terror threat. Now the White House is saying they are something like a transgender anarchist specter supported by foreign nations. Which nations? The report does not say. So now he's almost defending Antifa. And they're this is wild.
He just doesn't like, and what he's keying in on, which I think is signal, is he doesn't like the lack of definitions. And I think partly a lot of the times, I say you can learn a lot watching things lie, and you can learn a lot about what they're afraid of. He's not afraid of them going after terrorists. He's afraid of where those links might go back to. Like, where is the web lead, and how are they defining this? That would make total sense in an authoritarian regime to be afraid of that in a dystopia. But, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I'm pretty sure we all know, or we all believe, that organizations like Antifa and the media members who perhaps coordinate with them are indeed engaging in domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
Sometimes these seem like digging operations, like mining operations, public mining operations, where they're like, how are they defining this, and how far back does it go? How many head hops?
This next section is interesting because I think I might agree with it. And on it goes until it gets to Iran, which the report calls the greatest threat to the United States emanating from the Middle East. The danger of Iranian terrorism is a reasonable concern, but only a year ago, the administration's 2025 national security strategy downplayed the threat from Iran. The change is significant. It's almost as if something extremely dangerous happened over the past few months. I wouldn't necessarily say the security strategy downplayed the threat from Iran, but they only mentioned it a couple times, and they listed it as like the chief disruptor in the Middle East, like the chief destabilizing force over there, but they didn't necessarily draw it to the United States from there. But I mean, this is technically true. The report, the greatest threat to the United States emanating from the Middle East, and then in the national security strategy. You know what? I think I might have that in my bookmarks. Yeah, I do. Okay, and Iran. Yep, here. The region's chief destabilizing force. So, I mean, is it really that far off? Not really, but kind of. So I kind of get what he's saying here. But anyway, the report also notes the real and significant problem of the persecution of Christians in Africa and elsewhere. But even here, a tragedy is draped in the needless overstatement that Christians are the most persecuted people on earth. This grim honor could more accurate. What'd you say?
I want to go back to the screen.
Oh, whoops. But even here, a tragedy is draped in the needless overstatement that Christians are the most persecuted people on earth. This grim honor could more accurately be applied to various other groups, but it was likely included to please Trump's evangelical base. He probably would have rather had the Jews.
Now, which other groups? Like, he won't say. It's kind of funny because, again, earlier he concedes Islamic extremism, but he doesn't want to say that.
Yep. Oh, here we have a mention of cutting off arms, which he doesn't go into as much detail as we did last week. I think that was a great strategy. I thought
that's probably what spooked him.
Probably. He's probably.
How many? Yeah. Nichols.
He's worried about his own arms going missing.
Exactly.
I was going to write such bullshit without
voice to text, Tom.
Yeah, but so it's just interesting the things he's pointing out. And then they go into talk about Gorka, who
26 times Gorka is named in this and given sole credit with coming up with this whole strategy.
We should almost read this because I want to talk about how much of a faggot he is next. So maybe we can have Tom Nichols, a fellow faggot, set the table. In Trump's first term, Gorka was also an assistant to the president, and he lasted all of 7 months, during which he did little besides fend off criticism for his alleged ties to a far-right group in Hungary and fight to gain a security clearance. After he was forced out, Gorka took up podcasting, continued to appear on television, and hawked fish oil pills.
They might be good pills, man. We don't know.
They're probably not our krill oil pills, which are way better and don't have the burp taste. Anyway, the fish burps. Now that Trump has returned without adult gatekeepers in the White House, that's funny, Gorka is back, and his involvement in this document explains a lot. Gorka has no real experience in national security. His reputation in the MAGA movement rests on his devotion to Trump, of course, and his ostensible expertise as a scholar of terrorism and counterterrorism. Not that there's anything wrong with academic expertise as a foundation for policy. I'm a big supporter.
They're like, we don't want to have anybody digging this up when I go for my post.
Yeah. Don't not trust the experts, but just don't trust this expert.
Not this expert. Yep.
I'm a big supporter of that idea, but Gorka isn't much of a scholar. Other experts have noted that Gorka's academic work is, to put it gently, subpar. So other experts consider this expert's work subpar. His 2008 PhD from an undistinguished Hungarian university and his later paucity of scholarly publications. Funny. So anyway, let's talk about Gorka a little bit because he's in the news recently because of this. Let me find the right post here. Where is it? Didn't I retweet? Oh yeah, it did. Ghost. Here we go.
Our laws. However, there are things within our laws that you are not allowed to say, right? The freedom of speech does not extend to inciting violence or threatening the lives of specific individuals. That is not permissible. Beyond that, we will map. We haven't talked much about it, but you read the counterterrorism strategy, it's a very clear document. We don't shy away from telling the world what we're going to do. We are going to map out these individuals We are going to identify them. We're going to find this is God bless Scott Besson, Cash Patel, yes. AG, the acting AG Todd Blanche. The money trail. The money trail is the most important thing. You look at these from the river to the sea, bring the Intifada to the streets of America. It's so interesting. You're on the campus of Berkeley or you're on the streets of New York, and everybody has exactly the same placard, printed with the same font. That's a little bit strange. So, I can't discuss, ongoing operations, but the importance of malign foreign actors who leverage domestic fellow travelers. We lived this for 40 years during the Cold War. We will get to the bottom of all of it, whether it's the Singham network, whether it's Iran, whether it's Russia, whether it's anybody else. Our mission is to uphold the Constitution and at the same time protect Americans from violence.
They're going to be end up going after people for their speech, the anti-Israel speech specifically, and that I am in no way in favor for. And again, I want to point out this is a dual citizen, possibly even like trilateral citizen. Can I use that word?
Trilateral citizen. Okay.
Trilateral citizen. And I think that is totally unacceptable that anybody who has any other citizenship in addition to the United States can hold any position in government, period. It should not be allowed. They should be, can we use the word lynched, Seb Gorka?
No.
Tarred and feathered?
No, metaphorically.
Well, yeah, I'm not actually going to call to lynch somebody.
They should metaphorically tar and feather their other citizenships.
They use the word lynched on Netflix, and so that's a free pass for anybody to use it. If they can say it on Netflix, we can use it.
That's true.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, obviously don't want any violence or whatever. I'm already on the list. But, yeah, it should not be allowed. He should not be holding that position. I think it's retarded.
Yeah, this stuff's pretty vanilla. I mean, the stuff he's saying is not necessarily untrue. It's more just, who is it going to be turned against? That's why it's kind of funny. If you could get everything that we think out of our heads and just read that article by Nichols, you're like, yeah. You're afraid of overreach and you're afraid of the government and agencies misusing this authority like we saw under the Patriot Act in the Bush era. You just can't. I shouldn't say it, but I don't think that they're going to be going after Americans for Israel speech, but it certainly seems a lot of people want to. I'm just hoping this is a humiliation ritual on them.
Here's a better clip.
There are things within our laws that you are not allowed to say, right? The freedom of speech does not extend to inciting violence or threatening the lives of specific individuals. That is not permissible.
And then it comes down to what are they going to interpret as that? And
technically what he said there is true, but it's all about the inciting violence part is something that the UK has run wild with, which I'm sure a lot of people in this audience have seen those viral videos for years of people getting arrested in England for inciting violence when there's nothing even remotely like that. Direct threats has never been protected. Everybody knows that. We're not 3 years old. But there's no reason this needs to be redefined.
Yeah. So anyway. Hold on. What just happened here? I want to play... Did he delete that post? There's a new version of it. Okay, I want to get into, unless you have anything else to say on this, I want to get into the files story, the CIA files.
Yeah.
That's like making its rounds. So this is what went viral. I think it might have even started with Laura Loomer, who started with this clip, but let's take a listen to this.
Just in, John. The CIA just raided Tulsi Gabbard's office. Agents hauled out dozens of boxes, files on the JFK assassination and MK Ultra, the CIA mind control operation, which she was in the process of declassifying. Today's whistleblower said it during his deposition, and Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna confirmed it moments ago.
reason why this is troubling is there was an executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MK Ultra files. The CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed.
Can the CIA overrule the president?
So this is that Kirikow guy. Like, he's the worst. He's a shill. He's CIA, former CIA. Like, this guy's been on the front of a few other ops. I don't even remember which ones. There's one having to do with the Iran war, but totally full of shit. This whole thing is totally full of shit. You have Ezra Cohen Watnick coming out saying this is fake news. Pull that up. Fake news. I've been a frequent critic of the intelligence community, especially the CIA's decades-long culture of overclassification. This alleged incident, however, is not the right tree to bark up. The boxes were full of unrelated records and were returned after they were scanned. There's another report out there that it happened like a year ago during the government shutdown. And then there's another, this is the DNI spokeswoman. This is false. The CIA did not raid the DNI's office. But you have everybody going wild with this story. Anna Paulina Luna came out.
Look who deploys it. You've got Waters and Fox News deploying it, and then you've got Anna Paulina Luna jumping all over it immediately. And these are the type of people that, go down that whole rabbit hole again, but we get shit on constantly for daring to question whether or not they are shameless grifting whores or read in on secret white hat plans because they give hat tips to the Q drops, which anybody in the world can do at any given time.
Yeah.
So this is just exhibit 1000 of it.
This is a great example too. She offered, after she went on TV and said all that stuff, she offered a clarification, took documents that ODNI has jurisdiction over. Also, this did not happen today, and it was not a raid. However, it did take place, and we are just being made aware of it.
So none of the three foundational things I claimed are true, but otherwise everything is true.
But this is a great example.
No aspect of this is true.
Hold on. This is a great example of how Anna Paulina works. I've been calling her a grifter and a social media influencer since the moment she came out, because anytime there's a viral story or anytime Trump says something that everybody like on the base is like, oh, I love this idea, she will immediately go and do some sort of congressional action with it. Like, she'll start a task force over the JFK stuff when Trump is the one who's like, I'm going to declassify the JFK files. She'll go and send a letter to try to subpoena the Epstein files or whatever and get totally ignored by the FBI director at the time. She's constantly trying to attach herself to these stories. And this is one of those stories. She sent a letter and is trying to subpoena. Given the nature of the docs in question, we are sending a preservation notice. That's what it was. Docs need to be returned to ODNI, given that ODNI was given direction and authority, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's inserting herself into the story and becoming a mouthpiece for it when it's an entirely fake news story from the beginning. But it just, it's a great example. She just has to be there like a dog on a bone attached to these stories. Grifter.
Yeah, we've talked, it's like trying to find new angles on it, but I think it's unfortunate what's happened to segments of the truth community with this stuff. And by that, I don't even mean the people who are themselves grifting. I more mean earnest truthers who, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever, or still today, are picking apart things Donald Trump is saying and looking for alternative meanings. I think that that's entirely apt. It makes perfect sense to do that with people like Donald Trump, with world leaders, good and bad. Like, it makes sense. But there's always been, or at least I think it's always been a good modus operandi to not extend that beyond too many head hops, because once you get beyond Trump himself, as you always say, it's like you cannot extend your trust beyond that. And I think the real problem is a lot of people who do this will claim that they're not extending their trust to people outside of Trump, and yet they obviously are, because they attack anybody who criticizes these people. Then what happens is, maybe at a point like this, it becomes obvious at a certain point, and they turn on people like Una Punuta Banca, but they don't retroactively go back and say, it was easy or possible to see this coming in advance just by mapping, as Chris would say, people's incentive structures, right? Like with Una Panuta Banca and Nancy Mace and many others, AOC, Congress people are essentially influencers now. They behave as influencers. They operate on the same incentive structures as influencers. And it makes perfect sense. If you were an influencer branded on the MAGA side of the aisle, whether or not that's your real intent, I would argue that at this stage of kind of the mind war and the public narrative where people are at in the country, I think it's easier to grift off of MAGA than it is to grift on the left. And that's encapsulated actually in a tweet, in a clip I shared in the Badlands chat a few hours ago, where you had like Klazilla and Chuck Todd talking about how nobody on the left is calling out the left for attempting to overtly rig elections. Now, I don't like Klazilla, or however you pronounce it, or Chuck Todd. I'm just saying that they're navigating a social battle space right now on the left where the left is not cohesive. Anna Paulina Luna is navigating this unity push on the right where she gets to do something like this on Fox and still has all of her following and all of her supporters the next day and all of her trust the planners. So it's just easy. You know, anybody could do it. You could say, you could switch sides right now, go on Twitter and just start talking about the plan and posting, Q quotes or anything like that, and you're automatically trusted.
Yeah, and it's even bigger than that. Like, to me, I just feel like we're not learning. We're regressing. And that's the part that's more concerning me. We're still doing the same things, making the same mistakes that we were making 6 years ago, however long it's been since at least I started getting into this. Like, I'm recognizing the same damn things. People are falling for such fake news bullshit or psyops. And another good example of this is the Thomas Massie thing that just happened. Thomas Massie is a primary coming up soon, and I am no Thomas Massie fan. I know a lot of people like to think he's the principal conservative. Some people think he's like the only respectable person in government. I don't think that's true. I don't think there is a respectable person in government. And maybe he's the lesser of all evils. I don't know. It still makes somebody evil. I think he never said a single word about the Epstein victims, not a single time, until it became a political cudgel he could use against Trump. Like, literally, go search his profile. He didn't say a single word about Epstein or the victims or anything while Biden was in office. It only became a thing when it reached a fever pitch and it was an op against Trump. Like, don't trust him, whatever. Don't care if he wins. Don't care if he loses. Do not give a shit. But then here this week, we have this story that comes out. Some lady he was boinking for a while and brought to DC and helped get a job. Like a whole bunch of allegations. There's not a single shred of actual evidence behind these allegations. And supposedly she was like paid off or whatever. Again, no actual proof. Not to say it didn't happen. I'm just saying that so far we haven't seen any proof of it. And people who are only against Thomas Massie, not based on their own principles, but because Trump has said mean things about Thomas Massie and endorsed his opponent and all those things. Reminder, guys, Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham and he sucks. Like, Trump's endorsements do not necessarily mean anything.
Didn't he yesterday say Lindsey Graham was essentially too stupid to understand what's going on? Or today? That was today.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, if you can find it, pull that up.
It's hilarious.
But that's the thing. Like, it's not the fact that it's against Thomas Massie. It's the op they're running. It's the same op they ran against Kavanaugh. And guess what, guys? We were pretty staunchly defending Kavanaugh and like the principle of like, yeah, that's probably a bullshit allegation. What happened to, innocent until proven guilty? The Stormy Daniels against Trump, the hush money thing, the $130,000, that was an op, and we defended Trump from that. It's a very like
Carroll, which wasn't there news on that today? Yeah,
the appeals court froze the payment of the $83 million for now, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, the principle of it is like, guys, this is not the first time we've seen an op like this, and you've defended the person being accused previously, but this time you're not, when there's just as much, if not less, evidence to support the claims being made. And why is that? And is it because you're a principled person and you're just clearly not? It's not that, or is it just because you don't like Thomas Massey for whatever reason? And I'm a guy who does not like Thomas Massey, so I feel like I'm allowed. I'm also a guy who's had multiple false allegations made against me, and an entire lawsuit based on a false claims made against me. And so this shit hits a little harder. And it's like, when we haven't learned, if we can't go from like sticking by the same principled arguments and defenses of the same type of accusations to this, like that's not truth, but it's a ton of people in the truth community, people, the Q people and whatnot that are all on board this. It's just not right. And again, I do not give a shit if Tommy Massey wins or loses election or fake. But
by the way, the truth that I was thinking of was not about Lindsey Graham. It was Mitch McConnell. Trump was highlighting this guy who came up to Mitch McConnell, and he was like, Mitch doesn't know what's going on.
That guy looked like Ezra Cohen Watnick too, by the way.
Yeah, he did. He looked like an AI rendition of like Ezra Cohen Watnick mixed with a Pajit of some kind.
Yeah, this is, and when Ezra Cohen Watnick actually shared this, and I was like, is that you? I got super confused.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of the why we can't have nice things. I don't know. We can, if we want to talk about the financial comments, but that's what I was thinking of today, or thinking of when you just said that. I think it was last week or the week before, I was talking about how if you're not engaging with this stuff through first principles framing or logical framing, Chris would often talk about epistemology, which it turns out a lot of people don't understand what that is. They don't know why they think what they think. They don't know why they believe what they believe, which most people in this community would attribute to leftist thinking. But I think we are seeing that there's a certain segment of quote unquote right-brained people or MAGA people who are, it's the exact same thing. And those people may often accidentally end up being correct or right. It's like I've talked about for years how a lot of people initially who voted for Trump, I'm not saying later on, did so because they were Republicans. It wasn't because they were engaging with the Trump platform or anything like that. It was like, that guy's the red one. He's got the R next to his name. So I do think that, or I hope that what Trump and team want is people engaging with these issues. So when I was talking about gas prices last week and liberals putting the Trump sticker, I did that on the fuel pumps. It's okay to defend Trump and the administration, in my opinion, if you're then willing to engage in a discussion with one of these liberals about why you think this is okay, why it's not really Donald Trump's fault that the gas prices are going up, what you think is going on with Iran and disentanglement, etc. But that's not what most people are doing in MAGA. Most people in MAGA were the ones putting the Biden stickers on the fuel pumps in 2022. We just went over that as a national average under Trump, and Trump is taking credit for it. He's not even backing away from it. He's taking credit for what's going on in the economy in a way I didn't even expect him to. And again, I think it's possible to defend him. I've written thousands of words doing exactly that because I think there's a larger plan at play, but that is not what most people are doing when they're defending this. They're just saying, that's my guy. I don't care if gas is $5 a gallon. It's like, well, you were using that exact metric to bludgeon liberals over the head with during the Biden term, saying that gas is $5 because Joe Biden is the president. So which is it? Is it $5 because Trump is the president now? Or is it because of something else?
Yeah, we got to do a little experiment here.
Uh-oh.
I was going to show you guys something.
Get us in trouble. Are any of these men a race?
Same guy. You can't tell me that's not the same guy.
Hold on, put the mask on both of them.
Well, it's not the same. They match right now, don't they?
Yeah.
I guess I could.
Well, it doesn't fit his proportions at all. You need to shrink that up. Except now he's going to have double glasses. Oh no, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. I think I had it right the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the same guy. Have we ever seen Ezra Cohen Watnick and Robert Kagan in the same room at the same time?
I don't think so. It also looks like they're both wearing suits.
We do need an earlobe check.
Is that the maritime flag, though? Are there comms in this?
Probably. Let's do a little background eraser.
What's that thing? Oh, that's crazy.
And then we're gonna check earlobes. Try to get them the same size. It does not look.
Ezra's got him beat on head size, it seems.
Well, they may not be exactly proportional. I don't know if the pictures were taken from the same distance or not, but
right.
It does not appear that the earlobes are a match.
Yeah. We've got a little bit of a taper to the Ezra ones, and this dude is a little bit more bulbous with the ears. But, CIA tech, we've seen what they do in the Mission Impossible movies. It wouldn't be hard to do a quick swap and go whisper something to Mitch McConnell.
It wouldn't be that hard. I wonder where is this guy from? He's a native of Lexington, Kentucky.
He looks racially ambiguous.
He used to be a member of. He used to be an advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Trump was calling him out. It was like he wanted us to know his face.
And then he was a policy advisor for Kevin McCarthy. He served as a member of Donald Trump's 2016 transition team as a advisor to CIA Director Mike Pompeo during his confirmation.
Much like a master of disguise might do.
That he might. Interesting stuff here. Man.
We got our eyes on both of you, gentlemen.
Yes, we do. Anyway, I don't remember what you said.
I was talking about the gas prices and how Trump. I got to play the clip because it's
bring it up.
It's fucking hilarious.
Fuck the American people's finances.
I mean, so I was telling John earlier, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this, and I'm going to defend Trump here using 5D chess, but I'm interested in the surface level narrative right now because I saw this come across my normie feed. I saw liberals talking about man, God King Trump is just straight up saying he doesn't give a shit about the American people's finances when it comes to the context of the Iran war. And I was like, no way. There's no way he said that. And I don't know, listen for yourselves.
Definitely said it.
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing.
Now, there's some cherry picking there, even if we're being fair. The direct quote doesn't sound good, but I think what he was trying to do there is say, if you're Trump and publicly you gave all these reasons for getting involved in Iran, which was denuclearization, etc., you can't then 2 months later say you are going to find an off-ramp because of what's going on in the economy, which is how they were trying to get him. They were trying to do a gotcha there. Yeah. I think they kind of did get him in a gotcha, which it doesn't really matter ultimately with Trump. He's Teflon Don for a reason. But the quote is one that they're going to be able to just play ad nauseum because he, of course, says, I don't think about the American people's financial situation. Now, most people here probably think he meant, if I said this was a military operation for a specific reason, I'm going to see it through for that specific reason. I'm not going to retreat because gas prices are high. But it's important, I think, at times to think about what is Normieville. We're always talking about waking up the normies, right? We're not necessarily, but a lot of people do talk about waking up the normies. And whatever you think about the Iran situation, there aren't a lot of normies that are going to like that, because the normie is going to sit there and say, okay, even if you're committing on military grounds, we aren't interested in U.S. involvement in foreign wars in the first place, which is what we were talking about 2 months ago. So I've written my way too long series about all this and what I think Trump is actually doing in the Middle East. But from a normie framing, it's essentially a lost narrative, I would say.
I covered this on my show, talked about it a little bit. when it comes to, okay, so number one, if you want to dig into this and have to defend it, I mean, it's a tough one to defend. I'll give it that. But when he's negotiating with Iran about the nuclear weapon, it makes sense that he's not necessarily thinking about Americans' wallets at home. Like, I don't really give a shit that he said this. It's just, I know it's going to be weaponized against him for sure. But I will give it to him, though. Like, he is constantly out in front of the media and the press. He's constantly doing impromptu, like taking questions. He'll do it for, like hours a day sometimes. Like, he is not afraid to go and spar with the media, and a hostile media at that. And you look back at the previous administration with Biden in there, and not only were they friendly media, they were scripted. He had the entire list of people to call on, and he rarely did it anyway. And he sucked all the time. Like, he could not answer a single question. So the fact that Trump is able to like so successfully go out there in front of the media and do what he does, that's impressive in and of itself. But it's also like, there's going to be times when he, speaking off the cuff, you say things that probably don't sound great. Like, I was counting them off on my show today. I think I do anywhere from 10 to 11 streams a week. You got my Daily Herold, Space Conspiracies, 2 Power Hours, Friday Only Lands. I record an America First Stories, and then sometimes we'll do a gaming stream. You're bound to say shit that probably could be taken out of context and not sound great. And this is one of those times. And I just really don't give a shit. But it doesn't help, and the timing is not great, because one of the biggest criticisms against Trump right now is the economy.
They're basically all
prices.
in on it. Yeah, they're basically all in on the
and it's a real thing, though. And this is the thing that people have been like, you can't. The cheerleaders have been especially like, you just got to wait till it's over. And yeah, I'm fine. I'm sure that later on the prices will come down. That's great. But there are real people out there. The real conversations that I'm having with people not inside the bubble we live in, they are affected and like concerned about the price. They don't like that stuff. They are having negative feelings and reactions about the prices of things right now. That's a real thing. And you can choose to pretend that doesn't exist, but it does. And so
absolutely. And I think it's important to be sober-minded about that. And I think it demonstrates, if Trump is who we think he is, I think we think he is that person. And if there are larger moves at play here on the world stage and what he's doing here, besides just nuclear weaponry, if it was really just about the nukes, I would be staunchly against everything that's going on here. The reason I'm for what he's doing is because I don't think it's about the nukes. So it's ironic, though. Even that is ironic, because I'm saying, if it was what Trump is saying, I would not like it or agree with it. I don't think it's what he's saying. But yeah, the economic damage is real. And people who dismiss it are just doing exactly what they accused the other side of doing during the Biden era. These things they have an immediate effect. Like I was talking about, I filled up my tank earlier today, and it was literally double the price it was in March. And obviously, the real concern is fuel prices, but it's not really how much your car is costing. It's the second order effects of those energy prices that have a lagging effect. And that is why I think the media, the anti-Trump media, is getting really emboldened in their economic criticism, because it's been going on long enough where those second order effects start to hit. The effects of these fuel prices are going to start hitting groceries and all these other segments of the economy, May, June, July, August. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So what they've talked about is that even when this off-ramp gets found, whenever that is, Trump is saying that things are going to plummet like a rock, but that might be true at the pump. It's not necessarily going to be the case with the other ways it's hitting the economy. But I'll offer a counter, or at least a reverse indicator. Same day, was this today? No, this was a few days ago. Robert Kagan. So this guy's like a Victoria Nuland. He's one of the most famous pro-Israel, anti-Iran hawks in the world, and has been an advisor to all these administrations, specifically war strategies.
Yeah,
I thought
real quick on this article was being shared around by some people who call themselves MAGA and have recently turned on Trump, and they're like, well, when Victoria Nuland's husband is against you, that the situation is dire, or something like that. Like, do you guys know what a reverse indicator is? Like, if they are
exactly,
yeah, like,
that's exactly my point. Is that people are not getting this. Like, checkmate in Iran. Washington can't reverse or control the consequences of losing this war. And there was one. I'll just read this paragraph. Defeat in the present confrontation with Iran will be of an entirely different character. It can neither be repaired nor ignored. There will be no return to the status quo ante, no ultimate American triumph that will undo or overcome the harm done. The Strait of Hormuz will not be open as it once was. With control of the strait, Iran emerges as the key player in the region and one of the key players in the world. The roles of China and Russia as Iran's allies are strengthened. The role of the United States substantially diminished. Far from demonstrating American prowess, as supporters of the war have repeatedly claimed, the conflict has revealed an America that is unreliable and incapable of finishing what it started. I am going to use this moment as a shameless plug.
Don't you do it.
BurningBright.substack.com, guys. My late...
Not now.
The multipolar...
We're at war. In a true sense, we're at war.
And I've been writing about this shit.
Don't.
Here. How about this?
Enough.
It's all been in the brief. A lot of this stuff. But
I'm gonna run out of memes here. So.
Yeah. So what's incredible about that? You said.
Go ahead and plug it. I was just messing.
Okay, so I wrote the multipolar world, and I've obviously been writing about a lot of this stuff. But this one is basically a follow-up to my Iran war, and Kagan kind of sets it up perfectly. Basically, Trump is obviously in Beijing right now. Also, shout out to the people who were sending me, I think it was yesterday, Trump responded to a reporter's question about, are you going to go to Moscow? And he said, I'll do whatever it takes. So, let's look for that.
What does that mean?
Sovereign alliance, Trump, Putin, and Xi. That has been the framing, right? The Q drops theorize this, or at least put that little seed out there. That's really what I've been writing about in earnest for four years. This framing, though, the subhead is the war is a story and the story is a transition. Kagan, in my opinion, is picking up on this. One of the points I make in the multipolar world is that the respect I have for Trump, if I'm right about where it's all going, is only going to increase on the back of this because of the narrative damage he's taking. Because I think, to your point, it's real narrative damage. The irony is, what Kagan says there is my entire premise of my Iran war series. He says, there will be no return to the status quo, the Strait of Hormuz will not be open as it once was, and Iran will emerge as a key player in the region and one of the key players in the world, and the roles of China and Russia are strengthened. The whole premise of my Iran war series is that it is not to strengthen the position of the United States on the world stage. It is to weaken it. And it is to weaken it by disentangling Western globalist interests from Iran while strengthening the position of Iran within the region, specifically as it relates to Asia, not China, but Asia, our American allies in Asia, and Europe. Trump has been threatening for 2 months the Europeans more than or as much as the Iranians. He's been saying, we're going to get out of here at some point when I say enough is enough. And when we get out of here, you're all on your own, motherfuckers. Asia's on its own. Europe is on its own. So who's that going to strengthen? Iran, Russia, and China, who have all been helping each other with this stuff. Meanwhile, Trump has been helping both Russia and China survive the energy shock. But in the interim, it's damaging narratively for Trump and the American hegemon and all that kind of stuff, which is why I actually think that one of the sort of second order effects here is to diminish or create bipartisan agreement against the military industrial complex.
Yeah, man.
So it's a weird situation, but
it is. And one of the things that would be interesting to see coming out of the China situation is some sort of resolution to the Iran thing, because I personally, for one, am excited for that Iran op to be over so that the prices do come down, because I do see that as an issue. But regardless, I also see why he would let it go on and on and on, because it's exposing a lot of MAGA grifters and whatnot. We do got a one more ad read to get in. And
by the way, guys, I think you guys are thinking I was saying Emily Kagan or something. I'm talking about Robert Kagan.
Yeah, you said like Emily Kagan like 6 times.
Did I say Emily Kagan?
Like 6 times.
I said that? Oh man.
I have no idea. I don't think so. I wasn't listening.
No,
you know I
said
don't listen
Robert
to you.
People are like, don't you know that it's a woman?
Victoria Nuland is a woman.
Yeah, Robert Kagan is the one who wrote the article. That's
well, actually, do we know for sure that Victoria Nuland is a woman? Has that been confirmed?
We don't even know that they're not the same person, even though they have been photographed together.
Has Chris confirmed that either of them are even real at all?
Nope.
Well, guys, now we're in a real catch-22 here.
Exactly.
You brought that back up.
Need I remind you how we were all almost duped by Ezra Cohen Watnick just a few minutes ago?
Ezra Cohen.
Caught you, Ezra.
We'll call him Ezra Cohen Karem. Ezra Karem Watnick. After that guy. We do have an ad read to do. I got in trouble from Rumble Studio because I didn't read the ad reads verbatim. It's the awkward one where I have to like be like, hey chat, get the Rumble wallet. I'll read your rants first. And so
what are they gonna do in strip clubs when it's all sats?
I don't know. Throw cold storage wallets at people.
Doesn't that kind of it makes it a little weird? Like, is she just gonna hold out her phone?
How do you make it rain when it's virtual money?
Lightning Network, get your nodes up,
guys. Look at it. Can't you see all the sats I'm tossing?
Get your Trezor Suite app pulled up.
Will be interesting. Okay, speaking of strip club sats, let me start this ad.
You whore.
All right, chat, real talk. If you actually want my attention, there's now a clear line to it. Here's how it works. I'm prioritizing Rumble rants sent through Rumble Wallet. You send one, I see it, and I respond. Simple as that. Questions, hot takes, stuff you really want me to react to. Don't bury it in the chat. Put it in a rant. Because let's be honest, regular chat flies by, but when you use Rumble Wallet, it cuts through everything. So here's the move. Download Rumble Wallet right now, scan the QR code, or hit the link. Setup is easy. Using MoonPay, you can use your debit or credit card or your existing bank account, then send your first rant. We're going to start answering those first. And unlike other platforms, your support actually lands directly with us, not sliced up along the way. The real value is you getting our direct attention. It's basically the VIP lane. You want a shout out, you want a response, you want me to actually engage with what you're saying, use Rumble Wallet, send a rant. We're watching for him. Shout out to Rumble and Rumble Studio and Rumble Wallet for that. And also, real quick, got to plug the upcoming GART conference, Deadwood, June 25th through the 28th. It's going to be a rootin' tootin' good time. So make sure you guys get your tickets. Badlandsmedia.tv/events, whether that's in person or virtual. If you've never been to one of these conferences, they are amazing. But this venue, this location, Deadwood, is just a little extra amazing. It's my favorite place in the world. It's awesome. You're not going to want to miss this one. We also, have you talked to your wife? Any pillow talk about the final guard of the year?
Yeah, I have inside sources close to the situation. Do you?
I do. I think we're going to be going. I'm not going to say where.
Oh, yeah, you shouldn't say anything. I know how this goes. If I don't know if
I have
you
the contract. I checked before the show. I have the contract in my inbox.
Really?
You just got to sign it.
Jeez, you're okay.
I'm not going to say the town. I was just going to say we're going to be going down again to the Florida area.
Venezuela.
We're going to Venezuela.
Caracas. We should do an El Salvador one at some point.
Yeah, you're not the first person to suggest that.
Or Cuba. I like that, Bay. Go to Havana. I was asking Grok to show me an image of what tipping a stripper with Bitcoin in the future would look like, and I don't think I can show any of them. I did not expect Grok to be this intense.
Mervok in the chat says, stripper can wear Meta contacts to see who tipped, and the patron can use their device or even the establishment's device to send payment. I feel like he is very he's already thought this out. Like he's thought through this a little too much, probably.
It's like this has been considered.
I've already gone through this with my favorite stripper establishment. We got it nailed down.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I can't show any of those.
Mr. Cameron 212 says, will you fucking guys come to Idaho? Not with that attitude, we won't.
Yeah, I know. Big jerk.
But actually, we're looking for that for 2027.
We'd like to. Idaho's not cheap, though, surprisingly. from
No,
what
it
I
is
hear.
not.
It's kind of one of the ironies where some of the places you'd think would be cheaper, but then because they have less infrastructure and space, they are more expensive. You know, that's like the weird thing. You'll get more expensive cities and regions with taxes and just cost of living, but then there's like 50 venues competing with each other in a 10 square mile radius. And then you go to like Coeur d'Alene and it's like, here's the one place you can go, and we know it's the one place you can go.
Yeah, so we're gonna try. No promises, but we'll see what happens. So I'm checking something here. Man, the Culshi poly market shit, the paid partnerships, so stupid. People are using that to attack Massey now too. Medbitsco, every stripper's a co-founder. I read it on RRN, and it was backed up by Ben Shapiro, according to sources close to the matter. Ridiculous. Oh, this was a kind of a fun story this week. Are we done with what we were talking about, by the way?
Well, I bet maybe the Sledgehammer thing would make sense as a funny narrative that came out today, that Trump is reportedly considering rebranding the name of the war from Operation Epic Fury to Sledgehammer. And the media claims that the reason for doing this would be to circumvent the War Powers Act.
It's totally the reason, though. Like, it's not.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That is 100% why he's doing it.
What I love about it is that it is Trump and the media agreeing that Congress is illegitimate, first of all.
Yeah.
That the war might not be real, second of all. And that even if it was real, all you need to do is name it something different and it becomes different. And I think what Trump is doing here is he's really, Chris uses the reruns refrain. He's kind of showing you a more comedic version of what the Bush administration and other administrations did with very serious implications, right? Like they were constantly just renaming the war in the Middle East until eventually we got to the war on terror. And I remember being a liberal at the time, being like, guys, you're cheering for a war on a concept. They're not even defining it anymore. And people are like, well, that's what the war's against, man. What are you, in favor of terror? So I'm all for it, and I think it's great. War is a story, story is a war. They're confirming it now.
I think we should do a war on drama. Online drama. That should be the real war. Since we did terror,
right.
Horror films. By the way, last night, have you ever seen the movie Astronaut?
No.
With Kate Mara, or whatever. I'm not sure if I should tell you to watch it or not. It was like it seemed like a good thriller, scary horror movie for like 90% of the movie. And then it ended in the most retarded way possible. But I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But I can't decide. It was a good movie, and then it got retarded, and it was like the worst movie ever. So I don't know what to say about it. But
speaking of movies that are not great, but I had fun with it. Tomorrow on the new time of Badlands Story Hour, we are doing Assassin's Creed with Michael Fassbender. Games. The concept of the movie is fantastic and is going to make for a fantastic discussion. This is all about dueling secret societies. You've got the Assassins and the Templars dueling in order to find the Apple of Eden that the Templars believe contains the key to free will. So it's all about false histories, invented history.
Do you ever play the video games? I used to play those back when I was in like junior high school. I used to love those.
Yeah, so I played them through like the Renaissance ones, I think. And I think I played the Greek one. That was the last one I played.
Yeah.
Odyssey.
I think it was the second one that was my favorite. I don't remember. But the ship one, the pirate ship one, that was a fun one too.
That was one of the best. Black Flag.
Yeah, Black Flag, I used to call it. But I was going to show something. Oh, when we were talking about the different names of operations, that's the job I'd want. People always come up to me like, if Trump offered you a position as administration, would you take it? And that's obviously never going to happen. But if he ever did, I would request to be the guy with the job who only picks the names of the operations that they do. Because I think that can be super fun. Like, get some audience involvement who can come up with the best names. Tracy Pager, did Cece like the movie? She had the same reaction as me. It was good until the very end. Totally blew it. I could totally spoil this for
I've never
everybody.
heard of that movie. How strange.
Yeah.
I think
it just came out.
Rooney Mara is a better actress than Kate Mara.
I don't know who Rooney Mara is.
Kate Mara's sister.
Oh. She's good looking as Kate Mara.
She's more gothy.
So no.
Yeah, no.
Just said no.
She was in The Social Network in the opening scene where she breaks up with Zuckerberg.
That's
and then
right.
she was
I
think her biggest movie was the American version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which she was actually very good in.
Jab K-Man says Call of Duty Bad Ops. It's a good name for it. Op name picker guy. I would just like run through a generator.
Alpha was shamelessly attacking Thomas Massey. He wanted you to see.
Yeah, let's pull up his post on this. Actually, no. Before we do that, we'll get to that when we get to the rants because I want to do this story really quick and it won't take long. We have allegedly sources familiar with the matter are saying that we are now investigating Wisconsin's 2020 election. Sources can confirm. It's according to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Left-wing rag, they come in here talk about Trump's false claims that he won the 2020 election. But I've been saying now for a little bit, ever since the Fulton County thing came out, when it comes to delegitimizing Biden, I mean, he clearly did not win the election, but if Trump is going through the story of it and working through the delegitimization of him in a, I guess, could you call it an official manner, then we're going to see multiple investigations into multiple states. Mm-hmm. And the results of those investigations will show that, yeah, Georgia did not go for Biden by 20,000 votes. That'll be overturned. And then another state, Arizona's, there's rumors that we're going to be investigating there. Hasn't come to fruition yet. And I keep going to this map. We just need to get like 3 to potentially 4 states. Georgia's, we know, is already being investigated. So if we look at that, we're good. Wisconsin, if it follows through, we're good there. Then we need either a Pennsylvania or like an Arizona and like one more. But even just even if we just get Arizona in addition to Wisconsin and Georgia, it has them at least tied. But the conversation is what we need. It doesn't really matter about the actuals of it. It's the story of Joe Biden not having enough to have won the 2020 election just based on the electoral college vote. And then the conversation that stems off of that of, okay, well, he's not supposed to be president then. What was it that we witnessed? And
this is one of those like actual narrative fusions where I think it makes perfect sense on both levels. On an actual level, you've got to we think they know that it was stolen and all that. Obviously, Trump's been saying that the entire time. But from an investigation perspective and accountability perspective, it would have to go state by state because these are state elections, even though it's a national election, obviously. So that makes sense from an actual perspective. But from a narrative perspective, if there's some measure of control here of the timing, which I do think there is, it makes sense to do it that way too. Because with each, like, let's say in our dream scenario, the first state gets overturned, like or at least they officially determine that it was a fraudulently conducted election. Like that's probably what would be the first determination from a legal perspective. You get the national argument at full blast, like full emotional pitch with that deployment. You take a lot of the air out of the balloon of the anti-investigations ops at that point. And then you parlay that into just rapid cultivation of public mandate that would be like a cascade. Because you get it into one state, you parlay that into the next one, you parlay that into the next one. You can kind of beta test the public. If you're patriots, you're the people kind of measuring all this, the administration, the DOJ. You're sort of beta testing the first disclosures and the first accountability phase, investigation and then accountability phases, state by state, and using that for the next one. I don't think you have to do it that way, but I just think it makes sense that they would do it that way.
Yeah. No, I agree. And we've talked about this before. Anytime we get a new story that kind of pushes us further in that direction, I'm totally here for it. But yeah, man, I think that's all the stories I had. So we can get into the rants. And I know we'll probably spend a little bit of time on rants with the stuff Alpha sent in. So
yeah,
we can do that. We got any boosts?
We got a boost from 1027JS for $20. Go wild. Have a great show tonight.
Thank you, Joe, my fellow North Dakotan. But yeah, they lost. It is what it is. It's one of those things where I was excited about the team because they were a good team. And if they played their best and had their full squad, it would have been a different series. But I'm also like no stranger to letdowns from my Minnesota sports team. So I'm not even that bummed out about it. It's weird.
Craziest Minnesota letdown was you guys giving us David Ortiz for like some scraps.
It wasn't that weird. I mean, he's a legal immigrant. You guys should have sent him out of the country. Actually, he might not have been illegal. I have no idea. Yeah, that was. He wasn't going to re-sign with us, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't even know. I wasn't following it at the time, but I'll take credit for it either way.
Yeah. Snowcat operator, or do you have another boost?
No, I was just going to say that the real rigging we need to get to the bottom of is the NHL draft, because the Bruins' only silver lining at the end of this season was getting that Leafs pick, and the Leafs just happened into the number one pick.
I hope the Wild trade for Austin Matthews. We can send him a first rounder. We could send him our now backup goalie Gustafsson. He's pretty good. And then like maybe a couple other guys from our AHL team and
just get him to commit to the rebuild up there.
Yeah. Shit, why not? Austin Matthews doesn't want to be there anyway. Get something for him.
Yeah,
then we just got to re-sign.
Next draft pick anyway, so that helps us out because then the Leafs will be worse. I like it. Yeah. I'm on board.
Yeah, because the Wild need to go all in now. Next year's their year. Aloha 2021 says, "Did you see Trump's arrival in China versus Obama's back door off the plane? Trump is the boss." Wait, is that a euphemism? Was there some Obama sex in a plane in China or something that I'm not aware of, familiar with? Snowcat operator gifted a subscription. Thank you, Snowcat. Good to see you, man. The Alpha Warrior Show rated the stream, and so did Zero Dark Tony. Thank you for the raids, guys. Texas Jules said for $20, and good to see you, Jules. Howdy, Dallas Badlanders. We've got another meetup on Sunday in Plano. Plano. Email me at txjules. That's JUL. ES, TXJULES at proton.me to RSVP for more info. John and BB are always welcome. Let's get a Texas Gart. We'll probably come back down to Texas again. I have wanted to come down to one of your meetups one of these weekends.
I think we're definitely going to get to Texas again.
You gotta let me know, by the way, when you're looking to do those, because if we did it on a Saturday on a week that I don't have my kids, it would be much easier for me to come down to one of those. But yes, everybody, RSVP this Sunday, Plano, Texas, txjules at proton.me. Alpha Warrior Show says, ha 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 ha, enjoy, and then sent one of his tweets, and I think it's about Massey.
He alternates simping for Trump and then going after Massey these days.
I think he's been pretty steadfast against Massey for a while.
Yeah.
But let's read this. So let me get this straight. The grieving husband of a 30-year marriage was on vacation with a new girlfriend within about 2 months, as Ms. West stated. But the same Massey loyalists want to lecture Erica Kirk on how she is supposed to grieve. Come on, Thomas Massey's cooked. I thought Cynthia West was lying. Read the comments for Massey's nasties. I guess the South Africa trip is no longer an allegation. What else was West telling the truth about? This is getting interesting. I feel like there's multiple things that, like the South Africa trip, he never denied that, I don't believe. I think it was, he denied the $5,000 hush money thing. And there's one other thing. Like there's multiple things that she didn't actually.
And Erica Kirk simp?
I have no idea.
This implies that you are Alpha.
Yeah. I thought the goal, guys, my goal, like, again, Thomas Massey, obviously I've made fun of him before about, hey, he probably moved on from your wife a little soon. I think I had a post actually.
She could have been a real bitch, man.
Let me find it. I had a post a while back about Massey when he passed his first bill. Oh yeah. Assuming this bill becomes law, it will have taken Massey roughly 140 more months to pass his first bill than it took to remarry after his wife died. I thought it was super funny. So yeah, not a Massey simp, but it just feels like a psyop. And you shouldn't use bad information to go after somebody just because you don't like the person. Because if it's bad information, like that's still bullshit, right? Like that's still a psyop. You're still falling for the psyop.
No, you're winning, John.
What?
You don't understand. You're winning when you do that.
Because what if it does come out that this Cynthia West person did lie about some of the aspects of this thing?
You're still winning in the moment.
Are we about the truth in the truth community? Or are we about just
winning at any cost, especially with the lack of truth?
Yeah. But again, it is what it is. We've kind of already harped on this quite a bit. That Warrior Show says, I want to carry the nuclear football when you get in.
That could have been North Korean football. We don't know.
I don't think North Korea is allowed to play football.
You don't actually have to abbreviate nuclear.
I don't think they're allowed to play football, so I doubt it's that.
Right.
But maybe not.
It's possible. We can't assume.
That Warrior Show, can everyone buy one thing from Soft Disclosure tonight so John doesn't lose a need for me? Buy the chapstick. It's awesome. And then he sent another one. Please save Alpha's job. Buy Soft Disclosure. We are going out of business in Alex Jones' voice. I will never shill like Alex Jones does.
Is he out of business again?
He already went all the way out of business. So we might actually get lucky and not see that grift anymore because he switched. He had to give up his InfoWars stuff to The Onion. But no, we're not going out of business, but you all should be buying products from Soft Disclosure. Talk about principle, putting your money where your morals are. It's a totally America First business supporting like 5 or 6 total American businesses, which is awesome. The products themselves are natural and great.
And as you can see, the ads cost us several $1 million each to produce at this point.
Yes, we are killing it in the ad department.
So, what the whole reason there was all this hullabaloo about the Utah data center this week, we need that data center to render future Zach. If you guys want the continuing adventures of future Zach, there are early talks, preliminary talks of an entire Badlands cinematic universe wherein eventually we'll get a cross-dimensional Badlands Avengers team with future DeLorean Zach, Tiny Bright, Messiah John. We've got some other characters we've got to cook up here. Chinese Alpha. He could have some kung fu mastery.
Yeah.
What other characters do we have?
Somebody was saying they couldn't see the chapstick in here. It's the lip balm here at the top. If you click the drop down arrow, shop lip balm, and look at that, 35 customer reviews, all 5 stars.
Wow,
it is pretty fantastic. All the products are like that though, man. Beard oil's freaking great. 40 reviews, 5 stars. Deodorant, 109 5-star reviews. And this shit too, guys. Like I'm my ass is a little chapped. I have to use a little extra lotion on my ass because we made these things a little too big and they last so fucking long.
That's what she said.
That the repeat customers take forever to come back to us because it takes that long. Like there were people who bought one deodorant stick at our first GART when we sold it, and they had just, and that was last year in Deadwood, and they just bought their second stick at Nashville. So it was like, what is that, 9 months, 8 months? I don't even know what it was. And the person smelled like there was no BO because they were using the product. So it's not like they weren't using it. The shit lasts forever. Yeah. And so we will be making it a tad smaller in the future.
In our next formulation, we will be making chapstick that chaps your ass so that we can then sell you the solution. It's going to be called Hegelian disclosure.
I don't think that's a thing. And that was kind of retarded.
Soft dialectic. That's what it'll be.
Better, but still.
We need to create the problem for you and then sell you the solution.
Yeah. Ginger_S in the chat says, make your own deodorant, idiots. Excuse me, we make the deodorant. Don't get into your own business. You can't make it like we do.
How dare you?
How dare you? EC was here, says, you guys released the deodorant right after I bought a 5-pack. Are you out of that 5-pack by now? I bet you are. Because if you would have just bought a 1-pack from us, you'd still be using it probably.
Yep.
Hagel, Burn Spy says Hagel was totally chapped, taking it on the sly. It's the reason we started a lotion company really because we're so frictional, and it's to ease the burden of the friction by selling the lotion to make it all better afterwards.
Yep. All
Anyway.
roads lead to lotion eventually in the truth community.
Softdisclosure.com. Thanks, Alpha, for getting us on that track. For an outro video, we got to do this. Hold on.
Alpha clarified that his role in the Avengers will be Jerome, will be the character that he would choose. We do need diversity demos. Christopher Nolan is displaying in spades.
My what was I going to say? My goal is for the diversity is hopefully we're going to have a good ad for the Juneteenth. So just hold for processing. But this is the outro video. For those who are unfamiliar with what we're about to show you, the new movie, me and Zach talked about this on Monday, the new Odyssey movie from Christopher Nolan is coming out, and they have casted the originally female. What?
It is heavily rumored. It is not fully confirmed that this is the role he will be playing, but it is heavily rumored.
I thought it is.
That's not totally confirmed.
Are we sure?
That's the theory behind who she's playing in the movie.
Hold on. Now I gotta look this up. Oh, my fans think she is.
So it could be a rug, but either way, I believe it.
After the release of the trailer and the confirmation of several roles, and many fans believe that Elliot Page can portray Achilles. Interesting. Okay, so it's not confirmed. But anyway, this is where the joke comes from. Supposedly Elliot Page, the original female who had her titties chopped off and to turn into a boy, is the transgender or whatever, is going to be playing Achilles, which was Brad Pitt's original role in the movie Troy. And so this is a funny AI video based on that. Before we play it, when are you going to be back on? Are you going to be back on Saturdays Blitz?
Actually, I will be off for most of next week. Going to be doing some R&R with the family.
Nice.
So you guys will next see me on the Blitz on the Substack, exclusive to the Substack, which will be out on Friday. Actually, you'll next see me tomorrow night on Story Hour, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk Assassin's Creed, Ancient Templars, time travel, all that good shit. Last week's episode was awesome about The Matrix Reloaded. These movie discussions are becoming more realistic than anything going on in the central narrative. And then Saturday on the Blitz, and then we'll see if I can do Wednesday, but I'll have to talk to you about that. Depends on what my setup is going to be.
It's okay. I'll find a replacement. We don't need to talk. we'll just go there.
Elliot
Chris
Page
sent me something to play at 11:11. Decode that. But where did I put it? So it might not be appropriately timed for this, but we're going to play it right now anyway before we do our outro. But we'll play this and then we'll do the outro video. But all right. Thanks, everybody. Hit the thumbs up. I'll be back on tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern on the Daily Herold. You guys have a good rest of your evening. Thanks, BB.
Peace.
I want to get a job naming kitchen appliances. That seems easy, you know? Refrigerator, toaster, blender. You just say what the thing does, then you add Kitchen Appliance Naming Institute. What does this thing do? It keeps shit fresh. Well, that's a fresher. I'm going on break.
cross